Thank God it is Friday. This is the TGIF edition of Outnumbered on this very wonderful day. Everybody woke up this morning so excited. They came into the office and the gist was something else. But then, Antonia wanted me to say something, but I'm not going to say it. Good morning, Antonia.
Good morning, Ramsey. You're going to say it. But you don't have to keep it in your stomach. Say it. Pour out your heart.
She said, okay, good morning, Michael Ekene.
Good morning, sir.
You think I was going to ask the Dilichuku this morning? He loves it. He loves it. All right, wonderful people. These are my wonderful set of colleagues, and we are here to bring you to speed with the headlines for the day on this wonderful Friday morning. Kano Emirates Governor reinstates Sanusi after 4 years deposition as Assembly sacks emirs. Just one right into that story, and it says Yusuf orders deposed emirs to vacate official residences, palaces in 48 hours. This is fire on the mountain. 48 hours. Details read on page 2. Remember what happened in Kano State when there was issue between Ganduje and, of course, Sanusi, the one-time governor of the central bank who became an emir of Kano State. But then I think it's coming back again after 4 years. This is becoming more political. All right. Okay, let's move to the next headline, which says ASU protest. Tinubu orders review of Varsity Governing Council. Meaning these people, this governing council, they are giving me trouble. So they need to be changed. I'm just saying, okay. Well, details read on page 26 of the Punch newspaper. Then the big story, the kicker says a Lagos Calabar highway, 750 houses for demolition as property owners allege poor compensation. I feel like taking that again, because when it comes to demolition and compensation, a lot of people want to hear about it because so many houses, especially in the FCT here, oftentimes face what we call demolition. And this one says 750 houses for demolition as property owners allege poor compensation. One rider to that story, Tinubu to flag off project Sunday, ministry to demolish buildings based on Gazette. All right, that's that. Then IOC is to invest $20 billion in Nigeria. Federal government saying that, and details read on page 20. And 50 firms may produce military weapons locally. Ministers, one saying this. Military weapon to be produced locally. Wow. Okay, details read on page 7. If you're interested, just pick up a copy of the Punch newspaper. A lot of headlines today. NNPC partners deploy electric vehicle charging stations. NNPC partners deploy electric vehicle charging stations. Details read on page 19. Okay, and lastly from here, 19.4 billion naira fraud. That's the kicker. Serika brother get 200 million naira bill. Details read on page 20 of the Punch newspaper. And that's going to be the size of the headlines this morning. Michael, can we get the headlines from your end?
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Ramsey. Straight to the Daily Trust. The first headline, police arrest journalist in Abuja. Details of that story is on page 12 of the Daily Trust. National Assembly passes bill to return first national anthem. You can get the details on page 6 of the Daily Trust. And the big story on the Daily Trust, Sanusi returns as Emir of Kano. We have 3 riders to that story. Bichi, Rano, Karaye, Gaya, monarchs dethroned. Development bad omen, Northern elders. Dan Agundi challenges action in court. You can get that details on page 4 of the Daily Trust. Away from that, Atiku declares interest in 2027 presidential election. You can get that detail on page 13 of the Daily Trust. Tinubu orders review of Varsity Governing Council lists after protests. Tinubu orders review of Varsity Governing Council's list after protest. You can get that details on page 6 of the Guardian. FCT residents to enjoy free 2-month ride on Abuja Metro Rail. That's by the Minister of FCT.
FCT. I think Wike is trying everything to make people believe he's doing well, which he is. All right, he is. You can see.
Just yesterday, I noticed that
he's painting. The roads are looking beautiful. Painted, the roads are being given a new face, new looks. That's before the 1 year in office celebration. And one other thing that caught my fancy while you were taking your headlines is that of the journalists. I don't know what's happening. In just few months, how many number of journalists have been in police net? For this, we've not known the cause yet. But then, I don't think this is good for the industry. You know, the journalists need to be free so that they can also be fair in their reportage. Well, I don't know, but then I think something needs to be done.
And that's the size of the package on the Daily Trust. If you're a lover of rail, you have 2 months free to ride if you're a resident in Abuja. Over to you, Antonia.
Thank you, Michael. We'll be looking at the Nigerian Tribune newspaper this morning. Reps pass bill to revert to old national anthem. Bill scales second reading at Senate. That's on page 3. And I'm tempted to even take a look at the old national anthem.
I even wanted you to. I even wanted you to recite it. So just read it. So don't recite. Just read. Yeah. I know say me to recite. Just read it. Let's know what it is.
I'll take the first stanza of the old national anthem. So it says, Nigeria, we hail thee, our own dear native land. Though tribe and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. Nigerians all and proud to serve our sovereign motherland.
I prefer this one to the Arise to Combine Trade. It's making everything rise.
Oh my goodness.
Price of commodity, everything rises in Nigeria and it doesn't come
everything that rises in Nigeria, nothing goes down. Because
this is looking more like a creed.
Yeah, this one.
It looks more like a creed. Like something you say, something you say in a community like that acts like a binding force. This is what you are. This old anthem is actually beautiful.
But the truth is, it's not just saying it or reciting it or singing it. You understand? Practicing what it's saying, because the diversity.
Yeah, and it's stated here, though tribe and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand.
So in brotherhood we stand. That is when the northerners will say, okay, the southerners are our brothers. There is nothing like, okay, political appointments, it's just been given to one side like it is being claimed. And until we have these things put together, Nigeria, well, we will stand. Let me not be negative. We will stand.
Of course. So let's move to the next headline. That's the big story on the Nigerian Tribune. Kano awaits Emir Sanusi as government deposes Bayero and others. And we'll have 2 riders underneath that. Ramsey was shaking his head when he read this. But I'll take the riders. 4 former emirs given 48 hours to hand over instruments of office. And the next one says, why we reinstated Sanusi. This is coming from Governor Yusuf. And Ganduje is saying, I did my best for Kano. That's on page 4. Ramsey, you were shaking your head while I was taking this headline.
Well, I don't know. But then I think what's happening in Kano, I think it's like the seat is not as serious as it used to be, because when you talk about emirs, the governors, even the governors, some governors, before they do major things in the city, they consult with emirs. But now the way the emirate is becoming more political. All right, it's becoming more political. I think to me it's looking like a deviation from the real origin of why these emirates were being set up. Okay, as it is right now, if you're an emir and you don't dance to the tune of a particular governor or not in support of a particular governor, what they do is to see how they can remove you. But what happened to the powers of the emirate and the power of the people?
Michael, do you share the same thoughts?
Sanusi coming back. Sanusi's return.
It's actually becoming political right now, because if they can remove Bichi, Rano and Karaye and just dethrone them impromptu, it means the government doesn't find them interesting.
Meaning, if a new administration comes, they might even remove Sanusi.
They will have their own. It's becoming political.
You know one thing. You know one thing. I think this is more like an advice and a suggestion. If the Emirates, okay, can cater, okay, for themselves, if the emirs will know how to raise funds, you know, and cater for themselves, and not allow political intrusion, because he who plays the viper
detects
the tune, or he who plays the piper detects the tune.
Yeah.
If the governors are the ones paying the emirs, then they still have the power,
some level of control.
And if they have hand to install, then they also have power to uninstall.
Of course.
If they can enthrone you, they will also have power to dethrone you. So these are little things that should be looked at, not just in the north, but everywhere. We heard somewhere where they said someone commanded an Oba to stand up and greet or something. So many things happening. Well,
more headlines.
Thank God we're going back to the old national anthem. Maybe that will help.
More headlines from the Nigerian Tribune this morning. Senate revisits Jonathan's report. Probe 11,886 abandoned projects.
Wow.
That's on page 2. And we have some riders underneath.
Good stories today.
Raises 7-man panel. National Library, Lagos to Badagry Road, Abuja Housing Project, Calabar Power Plant, others on the list. Says Ajaokuta still alone gulped over $10 billion. You know, yesterday they were calling for those buildings that have been confiscated to be leased out for public use, and seeing that they're about to probe 11,886 abandoned projects. This is actually impressive, and I just hope that this probe actually goes till the end, and it doesn't just end on as newspaper headline. They actually see to it as Now let's take the final headline from the Nigerian Tribune. Reps move to avert nationwide strike over new national minimum wage crisis. That's on page 2. Set to meet organized labor ahead of 2-week ultimatum. And that will be the size of the headlines from the Nigerian Tribune. Ramsey.
Thank you very much. I was actually smiling. The reason is most of the papers have good stories today. Most of the papers, good stories, beautiful stories. Well, whatever that this administration starts, they should see it to the end, because I must talk about this. You know, when you give somebody responsibility, there should also be accountability, and there can only be accountability when there is supervision. So these things should be done to the latter, so that at the end of the day, Nigerians can give this administration kudos. From the Guardian newspaper this morning, the big story is where I'm going to be starting from, and it is on pages 4 and 5 of the Guardian newspaper. The kicker says 1 year of renewed hope. The big story, Tinubu's costly reforms leaves Nigerians on edge 1 year after. Moving away from there, let me quickly go to this because it caught my fancy. Ministers give Tinubu pass mark amid rising inflation, subsidies, insecurity. Details read on page 6. I think like 2 days ago, the president has been saying the ministers should be assessed, talking about the scorecard. So now ministers are now coming to give him a pass mark. I don't know, maybe this is some form of okay, let's give him a pass mark so that justice can be tempered, okay, with mercy when it comes to our own scorecard. Probably, I'm just saying. I'm just like trying to marry. I'm a journalist, okay. All right, that's what I feel, and thank God you're buying into it. All right, Reps pass bill to revert to old national anthem. Details on page 7. As Sanusi returns, anxiety, uncertainty in Kano over fate of the post-emirs. Details read on page 6. Concerns over inactive $252 million Intel facility. Missing info on NCC dashboard. Details read on page 5 of this paper, the Guardian newspaper. That's going to be the size of the headlines this morning. Let's go on a quick break. When we return again, we're going to look at what is about happening in 2027. Atiku saying he's interested in running for presidency again. As far as his health can keep him, it's worth talking about. We'll return and talk about that after this break. Don't go nowhere.
Follow us on our social media handles at Oweleke TV. Visit our website at www.oweleketv for a thrilling journey. Oweleke TV, rising star at the fairground.
Welcome back from that break on this beautiful Friday morning. It is still Outnumbered live on your screen, and we said we'll bring you the big story. And this is the big story right here. I will contest presidency as long as my health permits. So it is until death do me part. That's coming from Atiku. Now me add the until death do me part. What he said is he will contest for presidency as long as his health permits him. I don't know what's happening. Just a few days ago, we heard that there is about there's going to be a major sort of people. It's a speculation anyway because of the meeting between Atiku, Obi, and of course Saraki and other persons. And now Atiku is saying he will contest for presidency. Then other people, other school of thought said, well, Obi should be fronted. Then other persons are saying, what about the political ego that has existed before now? Now, some persons in the People's Democratic Party were not actually in support of what happened in 2023, and that's why they had faction, even though they attributed it to the issue that emanated from the national president's emergence. But as it is right now, in 2027, if Atiku comes out to contest again, does the PDP have a chance? Is the major thing going to be whipped away? Could this just be like a distraction? Because yesterday, APC, was it yesterday or the day before yesterday, APC came up to say, well, the major talk is just a normal talk coming from the Labour Party and PDP. Is PDP, Atiku, now trying to make APC lose focus and don't see what is coming? Antonia.
You know, whenever I see stories about Atiku, it just, to me, is the definition of perseverance. Where someone keeps striving, you have one target and you keep pushing to win, to get that target. Atiku has contested 6 times to get this presidency seat, and 3 times he was actually on the presidential candidate ticket for 3 times. And then he made mention of something that Abraham Lincoln, the former US president, contested for 7 times before eventually. So I can understand that, okay,
he has one job,
he has a mentor,
time.
You understand, he has one more time to go. But looking at the state of PDP now, PDP, with the internal crisis and everything going on, what we keep saying on the news coming from that party, it doesn't look as though Atiku may actually come out strong in 2027. Maybe if there is a merger, then something we may hope to see something positive, because from the different, we can see that the house is divided, and the house divided against itself cannot stand. Cannot stand. And then would they be willing to go into a merger with other parties? And if they are going into a merger with other parties, will Atiku be willing to go to take a step backward, or would other parties still front him as the flag bearer? Those are the things that they need to put into consideration. Otherwise, it will just keep being that. Well, we wish him the best.
But what do you think? What do you suggest? Let's say, for instance, Michael, let's say, for instance, I'm asking the both of you now. For instance, you are the chairman, the party chairman, and she is deputizing you. Who will you front if there is a merger between Labour Party, NNPP, and of course PDP? Would you want to front Atiku? It's a big question. It's a hot seat. It's a hot seat. You can also drop your comments, your reaction in the comment section on YouTube, where you are already subscribed to the channel. I believe all of you are already subscribed to the channel. Drop your opinion there. But as it is right now, let me get to Michael now. Michael, yeah, you answer my question, but not now because of our time. No you answer my question, but not now. Because of our time. I know we're going to talk about this over and over again because 2027 is still some years before now, and this drama keeps unfolding. So Michael, as it is right now, Atiku saying, well, as far as my health keeps me, the only thing that will stop me from contesting as the president of this nation is my health. What do you make of that? He's got a mentor, according to Abraham Lincoln, who contested for the presidential seat of the United States 7 times.
Tinubu contested many times also before winning.
Tinubu? For presidency?
No, I mean, I'm sorry, Buhari contested.
Okay.
That's what I meant.
Okay.
Buhari contested. I never gave up. The old man.
It doesn't up 7 times anyway.
Yeah, it's not up to about 3 to 4 times. But then categorically he made it clear. He said, I have made it clear in my previous speeches that if our parties are going to merge to agree on a candidate from the southeast, as long as he's qualified, we will support him.
Okay, that's Atiku talking.
Atiku said that categorically. I mean, last week said that, and he made it also clear to the public that people are thinking we have misunderstanding after the meeting they had. I and Obi are in good terms right now, and if he is qualified because of the internal crisis that we have in PDP, he stressed that the need for unity and cohesion is needed. But then, if he feels that Easterner candidate, which is Peter Obi, is the most qualified, he will support him and allow him to, become president. So right now, coming back to say as long as his health permits him, is contradictory to what he said last week. Are you telling us you want to contest or you support P2B? You have to be Christian.
And that's the reason.
As long as my health permits me, meaning I'll keep coming back until maybe due to my health conditions, I can no longer carry on with political activities as much as I want to.
He's stressed about the importance of collaboration with other parties. That means he's stressing that he wants to merge. In his speech, he also stressed that this thing, since that he knows that one single-handed effort will not suffice to win the election, that he wants PDP to take about collaboration with other political parties so that they can give Nigeria a credible candidate. If that's what Atiku wants to do, then I love that. But if he wants to keep stressing the old-time philosophy in Nigeria that old leaders must be recycled, that's where I have a problem with that. We have old leaders being recycled after governors. They want to become president. After president, they want to become senators. Leaving the Senate, they want to become ministers. How long are these old men going to be in government?
Yeah, that's true.
I'm very, very tired to see that.
It's so true.
Here. I mean, he's 76 now. So in 2027, he's going to be, how long? 79. And he still want to contest. What energy do you have? What about these neighboring African countries that are clamoring for a younger leader that has energy? Nigeria is so dynamic and advanced that we need a leader that...
We're a very intelligent set of people.
So we need a younger person. And who's the younger candidate?
Peter Obi, of course.
Everyone knows, and that's what it is here. So that answers the question.
Well, let's see what's going to happen in 2027. Could it be that Atiku is trying to distract APC with this statement? Because before now, he had already said he's going to throw his support behind whoever emerges out of the amalgamation, or maybe whoever that is going to be brought up as a presidential candidate after the merger, if it actually happens. Let's see what's going to happen in 2027. Well, I don't know, but then I think something is cooking. Something is cooking. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah. This is going to be the size of the review for this morning. The big story is so big, most of the papers have interesting stories this morning. Just walk to the vendor and pick any of these papers that you are interested in. Go through it and be informed so that you are not deformed. We are in a nation where everyone needs to be on his or her toes as far as information is concerned. Have a wonderful weekend ahead of you. My name is Ramsey Enoch. Bye-bye for now.